Hello, people. It is Tuesday, November 19th. We are here at the Real Talk Studios. Thank you for joining in on Birds of a Feather. It's myself, Chucks. You've got Brodo on the ones and twos. What's up, Brodo?
Hello, Mr. Chucks.
And then we got this guy. Yeah, I think his name is Kevin Godwin or something like that.
That it is.
Yes.
That it is.
Congrats, sir, on your win. It was a tough win, but you deserved it. You deserve it.
Thank you.
Yeah. But no, it was a good win, and we will good win, Godwin, and we will get into that soon. But thank you again for joining us. Our first half. It is brought to you by our doc, Paul Vidal, Specialized Physical Therapy, located in Cherry Hill, Burlington, Princeton. Find them on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. And our poll question brought to you by ATS Sports Picks, atsportspicks.com. Use promo code A2D to get your 20% off. Our poll question, coaching is the Eagles' biggest concern. Agree or disagree? We will talk about, as always, we will recap the Eagles' past game. In this case, it was against the Patriots, Super Bowl 52 rematch, which turned out to be the total opposite of how Super Bowl 52 went. And then we will also recap all the other games and news from around the NFL. We will do a quick preview of the Eagles-Seahawks game and finish off, as always, with no huddle. And we'll also give some live reaction to the Flyers-Panthers game as we got it on here at the studio, and we will update you as it goes along. But poll question, coaching is the biggest Eagles concern. Let's go with the guy who came out victorious first. Your input from the outsider, from the nemesis of this game. Do you think coaching is the biggest concern for the Eagles right now?
I am going to say yes. I went back and forth on this a little bit. Obviously, there's some the play quality is not there as far as the players doing their job and living up to what they're supposed to be doing on the field. But with that being said, I did not see any second half adjustments. I mean, you go up 10-0 and it's looking almost lights out, like this is going to be a problem of a game, and then you let the Patriots put up 17 points when Belichick is probably the best at second half adjustments and you don't do any yourself. That's an issue. If you expect to be a playoff team, which obviously the fans still think that, and I do as well think that they can make the playoffs, you have to make those adjustments, and I didn't see it. And then after seeing play after play not being capitalized by players, there's no adjustments made play call wise to adjust to the play of the players. Nothing was simplified. Nothing was really game planned out. I mean, I said it on Agree to Disagree, where the keys to the game was RPO and Wentz using his legs. No plays were designed to go that way and lean on the run part of the option. Everything, if they came out in an RPO, it was almost always pass. No one was biting on the run. And that's play call to me. That's, hey, there's options here. This is not being designed right. To me, that's not even an RPO. That's a fake this way, but we all know where we're going with the ball, and that's all on coaching to me. So,
Brodo, I'm going to go to you. I don't want to talk yet.
So are we talking about the biggest concern for the rest of the season, or are we just talking about for the future outlook of the organization? I just want to clarify that.
Let's go rest of the season.
Then yeah, I would have to go overall coaching, to be completely honest. If we were talking overall landscape of the team, I would say, it would start up with the GM, with kind of figuring out what we are as an organization, kind of a plan, because they say they want to win now, but then they want to also say they want to get younger, and they don't want to trade future assets to help a quarterback. So that's the biggest concern. But if we want to just talk about in games, during the week, during the season, I think it starts with coaching. Because, listen, am I one of these people that's going to go out there and say Doug Peterson should be fired today? No. Number one, that's a panic move. Number two, that's overreaction, because that's never going to happen. And three, whether we like it or not, when you win a Super Bowl, you get a couple of buffer years, okay? And I hate buffer years because I think that
Tom Coughlin.
yeah, well,
Yes.
and I think that is the perfect way for a fan base to start looking into the past, and that's in order for the organization to as well. But let me just be very honest with you. The game plan sucked. It sucked going into this game. I don't know how. And listen, the Patriots has one. They have one of the best, if not the best, defense in the league. One of the best defenses they've had as an organization in quite a few amount of years. Arguably the best defense Tom Brady has had in his career, and I think you would agree with that, right, Kevin?
Yeah, 100%.
So the offense isn't going to look good, number one, because they're going up against a great defense. Number two, we look at the weapons that they didn't have, like all the obvious things. I don't know how we can come off of a bye week and know that, like, for example, I know, just a random guy sitting at home watching the game, that the Patriots heading into the game were ranked 26th against the run and 3rd against the pass. I knew that. So how does the coaching staff not know that? And you could say, oh, they probably knew that. Okay, well, perception is reality. And the perception was, okay, they didn't game plan for that. So do they know that? You know what I'm saying? And I get it. Miles Sanders gets hurt. Things change. Lane Johnson goes out. I understand that. So you have to change your game plan, you would think. But I think it's concerning that when Doug Peterson is asked, okay, when Lane Johnson goes out, when Miles Sanders goes out, did you change the game plan? And he says no. Well, then I'm looking at you, dog. Then I'm looking at you, Mike Groh. Because when things in the game change, don't you need to change with it? And listen, I heard a lot of people say, oh, well, you got to give credit to the Patriots. They made adjustments. According to Bill Belichick, who head coach of the Patriots, according to Doug Peterson, the head coach of the Eagles, the defense on the Patriots side of the ball did not make any changes. They ran the same defense the entire game.
No, they didn't.
We made offensive changes, 100%.
Yes, clearly,
Defensive
yes.
changes, no, because that was working all game as far as Patriots are concerned.
So, like I said, there's a million blames around it, but when I look at a core, I blame coaching first because they're setting up and they're trying to game plan and kind of help the players out, especially the guys who flat out suck out there.
Yeah.
So I would say agree.
Real quick to address that one point you make, Mike K of NJ.com told me that Sanders was in the medical tent for a total of 5 minutes. So that is not an excuse. And Sanders was actually out there for a lot of snaps in the second half. So he was out there. He just didn't get the ball.
Yep.
So what am I going to say? I spent a lot of time watching, like before today, I had a half day of work, got out at 12, and once I got home, ate quick lunch, and went right to work on studying the film. And I spent like more time studying each play than I have in the past prior few games because I really wanted to dissect what exactly happened here because it was ugly. For one, the Patriots took away Ertz and Sanders. Almost every single snap, Ertz was either put man-to-man on Stephon Gilmore, or he was bracket coverage by two people. And then the other thing they did was they took away Sanders. Every single wheel route that Sanders ran, and he ran a lot, they had him go out on a wheel route several times. It was defended. It was like the Patriots linebackers keyed on it. They either had the zone coverage shifted to his side, or they had a linebacker sitting soft to defend the wheel so that it wouldn't get beat. So anything to Sanders in the passing game was pretty much keyed on. He did have some other routes, like he ran a post route in the slot in the third quarter, which he got free on, but that was the only time they did it. And it was on like a 3rd and 6, and they threw it to Matthews. Or 3rd and 10, threw it to Matthews. Something like that. So that didn't work. And then they did angle routes to Sanders a couple of times, but they failed to connect on either of them. So there's that. But the Patriots keyed on Ertz and Sanders. What does that tell you? It tells you, one, Ertz and Sanders are the only legitimate weapons on this team in terms of what the opposing defense is going to be scared of. Dallas Goedert. I'll say this. Dallas Goedert is a good player, and he had a touchdown, and He did have some good receptions, and he is a good player. He's one of our better offensive weapons, and he will continue to develop and be great. I really do believe he's going to be very, very good for a long time. However, this is what I'm talking about when I say to people that are so quick to put him ahead of Ertz and to get rid of Ertz in favor of Goddard. This is an example of a game where that is not true. Because you have Goddard out here, and the way he runs routes, it is nowhere near as close to how Ertz runs routes. And you saw also him drop a bunch of balls on Sunday that were catchable balls too. Goddard is really good, but he is not in the realm of Zach Ertz just yet. So let's please pump the brakes on handing over the reins to Goddard so soon. He's not ready yet. And I love him. I love Goddard. But the fact is he's not ready yet. He's still developing. He's not the receiver that Ertz is yet. Because he was left one-on-one with several times against defenders, did not get separation. The last thing I'll say is that the last two things I'll say. With Ertz and Sanders being key priorities for the Pats defense, they were pretty much saying, we're going to play man coverage on everyone else. Let's see them beat us. No one beat them. No one. Like, there was no one that consistently, and I mean consistently, because, you had Mac Hollins in the first quarter run free down the sideline for one play. Oh, big whoop. You had Nelson Aguilar here and there beat his man one-on-one for a couple of times. Good, big whoop. But when I'm talking about consistently getting open and getting separation throughout the game, no one was getting separation. No one. And so, like, that's a problem. And when that happens, you're going to get a frustrated Carson Wentz, especially if they're dropping balls. Now, Carson Wentz, he made the play at the end that should have tied the game. I think we would all agree on that, right? Like that should have been the game time touchdown. And the people who said, oh no, he could have thrown a better ball. He was pressured. He was pressured. He got rid of the ball as late as he could, and also Nelson Aguilar once again did a horrible job tracking the ball. Put himself in the position to make that awkward looking catch and make it so difficult. So that's on Aguilar. Wentz threw that. Amazingly. But Wentz was not at fault. Wentz had a bad game. And, I will be real about it. Like, I love Wentz. He is not near as close to being the biggest problem on the team. And no way am I saying that, it's all on him. But I will be real and say, like, he did have a bad game. He had several plays that bad decision-making, inaccurate throws, held onto the ball too long for a little bit. Now, there are plays where he held onto the ball too long because he had to, because no one was getting open. But there are also plays where he just stuck on the front side of the play and didn't move on from his progressions quick enough. You know what I mean? So
is that trust though?
Huh?
Is that trust though?
Partly, but there are also, when you go through progressions, if you see a key defender going into coverage, and that eliminates certain routes on your front side, you have to be quick enough in your progressions to go backside. And there's one play toward the end of the second quarter where it was the sack fumble. He has the linebacker, I forget who it was, dropped into coverage, and because of that, it was a 3-man route concept on the front side, I believe, and there was no one open. But Wentz was, for some reason, so stuck on that front side. If he looked to the backside, Goddard was open on a crossing route, wide open. So if he had just been quicker to progress and go to the backside of the play, he would have seen Goddard, got rid of it quicker. But instead, it was a sack fumble. So there's, like, when you want to really break it down, like, Wentz did have his moments. He did have his moments where it was on him. Bad decisions, inaccurate throws again. So it's not, he's not without blame at all. So to anyone that wants to say that I'm one of the people that's a Wentz apologist, I'm really not. I know that he didn't have a great game today. And the thing is, he didn't have a good game. The wide receivers had an even worse game. The coaching had the worst game out of everyone. Because I do not care if the Patriots are keying on Ertz and keying on Sanders. A good coach finds ways to make adjustments and figures out ways to get his players the ball. And you should have gotten Sanders the ball. It just should have been, like, I don't care, pass game, running game, they should have gotten Sanders the ball. And with Lane Johnson out, and you have Big V in there, you're telling me you're going to go pass heavy with Big V? What's the one thing that Big V can't do well? He can't stay like by himself in pass protection. He gets bullied. And we saw that. So why are you passing so much? If you want to set the tempo, you have them run the ball. You run the ball, and like I'm telling you, the Patriots secondary, you know this, they're really good. Patriots secondary is very, very good. It takes a talented group to be able to play as much man coverage as they do and be able to stick with it all game. But they did. They're very good. So why are you calling so many pass plays when you can have the Patriots defense on the ground? You can get yardage that way. It's just bad coaching, and the pass concepts are now predictable. Like I can call it a mile away. Like what I was saying last week, one of the keys is misdirection and confusion, right? Deception. Make them think. Go back in your playbook. Make them think you're going to one play that you showed before, but can go a completely different way. None of that. That was everything was predictable. Everything was the same as is shown on tape weeks before. That's not going to do it against Bill Belichick. So coaching, I agree, is the biggest problem so far, and there has to be like Mike Groh, like, what are you doing? Like, why are you here? Why are you here? So.
For me, the two biggest things that stuck out specifically as far as the coaching side of thing is, if I forget exactly when it was in the game, I know it was later on, starting at the turning point to where, it's crunch time, you guys got to get a score in. It's 3rd and short, and they pull Ertz off the field. So, okay, if Ertz is on 3rd and short, if Ertz is on the field, it's going to Ertz. If he's not on the field, 90% of the time, it's a run play. What do? They instead of, obviously the Patriots did it all game, everyone's up on the line, and they drop back whoever they're dropping in coverage. They sent an all-out blitz, loss of yards, have to punt, or that might even that might have been the one field goal. I forget exactly what it was, but you're being so predictable in what you're doing. You have two playmakers, and one of them's not on the field. Okay, what do you expect them to do? Yeah, it's got to go to the other guy.
Yeah.
Like we've said this time and time again. I know I personally like Romo in the booth.
Love Romo in the booth.
If somebody that's not even game planning says, "Oh, watch this guy, it's going to go to him," don't you think that the greatest coach, in our eyes, collectively see that he's going to know that too? So
absolutely.
And then on top of that, when Lane Johnson went out, there was no shift. Every play was being called like he was already in there. And if you look at the Patriots, our left tackle is out too. As Isaiah Wynn comes back this week against the Cowboys, and that was our biggest problem against the Ravens, was all of the pressure kept coming from that left side, and Brady was being hurried way too much where he couldn't set anything up. So what do we do against the Eagles? Everything's rolled out to the right. And nothing on that side was being stopped. Everything, he rolls out to the right and then throws back across the field because you expect the play to go right. And that happened all game long. You're watching him. If the pocket collapses, it's going either right or he's going straight back. And that's when you saw the pass play into the ground at Sam Michel's feet. That was probably the best pressure all game outside of the sack. And you can't keep calling that. For me, it was an anomaly knowing that, hey, here's what's working, but yet we don't want to do that. So,
yeah, I didn't. There's a whole other side of the football defense, and I'll get to that. But I think the defense played great. But yeah, the offensive side. Well, hold on. I know what you're gonna say, and we'll get to that later. I'm just talking about this game specifically. But let's get to some comments because I know we're flying on Facebook, and I know we probably got some on YouTube. But Chrome, who's not here, I didn't even address that. Sorry, Chrome has a date with his with his family with Gritty. So he's meeting Gritty and having fun with Gritty. So he's out there right now, but he does comment and he says coaching absolutely is the biggest concern from Howie down to Grow. Thomas says underachieved. Eileen Pompey says the coach wrote a book about how to win Super Bowls and at times runs his mouth being cocky as well as coaching skills. He needs to adjust stuff for the team and the fans. He says, who do your Eagles play next? We play the Seahawks. Don says, hey fam. Ralph says, forget Nelson. Greg says, Seattle. Oh, he answered Eileen's. Jerome Carey says, let's keep it real. Our receivers are garbage. That's pretty much real. Scrolling down. Got some. Rosca chimes in and says, what's up, boys? What's going on, Rosca? Manny Martinez says, first 2 series, bubble screen to Nelly, screen to Dallas, traps and single back runs out of 12 personnel. After those 2 drives, strictly gun formations. Come on, man. Why do they get away from the players, from what the players are good at? And that's a good point. The first 2 drives up until that touchdown drive, it was good play calling. Like deception, like they threw a couple of screens. It was working. They were running the ball well, and they got away from that. I do not know why. He also says every time we go to a trips tight end look, our trips tight end flex and run a play action crosser with Nelly running the intermediate crosser. It works. Why does Doug not see that? We didn't run that setup not once this game. Jeff Lohmeyer says, wish he put more effort into catching the ball as he did faking that knee injury after the drop. Manny also says, we kept running the motion Nelly fake jet sweep play action. Why not give it to him once? That's how you get that Jabroni's Nelly confidence up. And then he also says he's flying on here. He doesn't have time in the pocket. That ish gets pushed into everyone. Pushed into it every time, especially the center left guard side. He can't go from right to left or vice versa. And then Michael DeAndre says, first order of business this offseason is to shit can grow and the receivers coach. I don't disagree. YouTube, what do you got on YouTube?
So, Eddie Sanchez says, hello guys, the offense was so boring and bland, and Mike Rowe's comments on Aguilar pissed me off. Agreed, Eddie. WY2Fly says, up A2D family. Dwayne Aldrich says, the wide receiver class this upcoming draft is crazy good. Anything could be better than what we have now.
Yes, it is.
Bryce Blackwell says, yo, boys, coaching staff, except Doug, has to go. Major changes got to happen. Wentz didn't have a great game. He says, we need weapons. Keep Jackson. Everybody got to go. Then WY2Fly says, I think Grow has to get that demotion back to a wide receivers coach. And we hire Josh McCown as our new OC. Is any real football – if any real football mind can come up with some more pizzazz than Grow. And then he agreed with what Dwayne said. And then Dwayne is talking about Ruggs the Third. He says Ruggs the Third is a stud. I'm not there yet with the draft. I appreciate you though, Dwayne.
I don't know if you get him though, but
and then Pete Evans says Jay Gruden for offensive coordinator. I don't want Jay.
I would.
I mean, he's all right. So we're
We've
gonna go
said this
8-8
before,
every
he's not
year.
Jay Gruden as a head coach is bad.
Yeah.
Jay Gruden as an offensive mind, like offensive coordinator, he's good. He was back when they had Kirk Cousins and they were doing well.
Mm-hmm.
He was like his play designs were the only reason why they were doing so well. He's a good offensive mind.
Can't we just hire Mike Kafka and just call it a day?
I heard someone bring them up.
It's me. It's me. It's always me. I've been saying it for 3 years. It's me. Ever since Frank Reich left, I've been saying Mike Kafka. You know why?
He seems to be doing well. Yeah.
Who does he work with? Andy and Pat Mahomes.
Yeah.
Hello. Oh, but no. Let's go. Let's stay with Mike Rowe.
Hey, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I wouldn't be opposed to Kafka. I wouldn't be opposed to Jay Gruden.
Get Ralphie. He'll call plays.
No, see, I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going there.
Hey, he volunteers for every other position. Might as well get him on the staff.
Yeah, true. NX750 Gaming says, if this year's draft class has good wide receivers, Howie goes defense. or NX750 Gaming. If it's a wide receiver heavy draft, we're gonna find the guy that just can't play.
Yeah, we're
There's
gonna
gonna
find
be a million guys.
The one wide receiver.
And take them early.
Well, it's like the running backs class from a couple years ago. Like everybody's coming
Yeah,
out, Kamara,
and then
everybody,
we get Donnell Pumphrey.
and we get Donnell Pumphrey.
And then Corey Clement off of undrafted free agent.
Who's he? I mean, he's gonna be cut.
my
We'll never
God.
see him.
Yeah,
We'll never see him
Clement's
again.
gone. Clement's gone. Hey, remember when people thought that Clement was going to be the next best thing?
I didn't.
That
Well,
was
okay.
good.
Well,
That's 'cause he's
let's
hometown
be,
guy.
Let's be fair, okay? Because I know a little bit of
I
that's
wasn't.
coming at me.
No, it wasn't. It really wasn't.
I didn't say
It really
next best
wasn't.
thing. I said that he's going to be a good player to have.
No. I said the same. I said the same thing as
Okay,
you.
all right, good.
There were people that saying, "Oh, he should be the starter," and like,
No,
it's gonna be
no,
great.
no,
That's
no,
not-
no, no,
that's
no,
who I'm talking
no,
about.
No, no, no,
That's who I'm
no,
talking
no,
about.
No, no, no,
Oh my God.
Yeah, go back to Facebook.
So
There's some
Facebook,
things.
I
There's
know.
some things.
Michael DeAndre says even Grove's father fired him.
Yeah, that's true.
Bill Middlebrook says, Chucks, you just said you don't know why, and neither does anybody. You run the ball, and no Patriots adjustment can change the fact that they can't stop the run. 9-minute drive. Oh, gosh. 9-minute
It's your boy,
drive.
Kevin.
Where are they? 9-minute drive for a touchdown, and they couldn't do anything. Same as the Ravens' mobile QB, and run the ball, and the Patriots are toast. That's why Brady was pissed. He already knows they ain't got it this year, and we gave him that one. Have a wonderful show, fellas. So, I mean,
Thank you, Bill.
If they didn't have it, then they wouldn't have gotten it. But that's beside the point, Bill.
I mean, I think that
He'll be
the
back.
Patriots defense, he always says he's
He'll be back.
They always come back.
Yeah.
Patriots defense is legit. The offense, though, I will say that it is. This is now the point where the Patriots offense usually figures stuff out. They haven't yet.
Well,
They've looked like they've gotten worse.
It'll be interesting to see, though, because this week against the Cowboys, we get Isaiah Wynn back, which shores
Yes.
up your left side.
Yes.
And this will be N'Keal Harry's second game back.
Oh,
So starting to actually get some decent play time
Kevin,
to try to figure things out.
Kevin,
Yep.
please beat them this week.
yeah, please beat
Please.
Yeah.
the Cowboys.
We
I
like you
don't see
guys
them.
this week.
Please,
We
yes.
need you.
Well,
please.
I don't think it's going to be an issue because if you looked at their last couple of games, I know we'll get into this previewing next week in a little bit, but what have they not been able to do the last couple of weeks?
Who, the Cowboys, the Patriots?
The Cowboys.
Run the ball.
Run the ball. Okay, what beats the Patriots? Obviously, we talked about you got to be able to run the ball to beat us, and you can't.
Well, I mean, this would be a time where Ezekiel Elliott does break out. But I understand your point. I get
Yeah.
your point. Listen,
Usually-
they've been throwing that freaking Pollard, too. Like, where the hell did that guy come from? Can we draft him?
Well,
Like, I'd take
usually-
Pollard to be our wide receiver one. He's not even a wide receiver.
Oh,
Well,
God.
that's the thing is north-south running backs usually don't beat us because we almost every play is disguised where everyone's stacking the box. So if we see that that's coming, you're not beating us. Usually it's guys that are running out of the backfield that you have to respect as a threat in the pass game too, which Zeke's not. We don't have to really worry about him lining up outside or going out
Mark
on wheel
Ingram
outside.
beat you.
Right, but we were less worried about Mark Ingram than we were Lamar Jackson.
Well, that was
So-
your first
Dak can
mistake.
run
So-
too, though.
So when you have to watch both sides, not like Lamar.
No
no
one
comparison.
can run like Lamar, but I'm saying the concepts are can be similar. You
We-
have a
we
north-south
can't-
runner in Zeke that is similar style to Ingram, and then you have a mobile quarterback who can run. In
But
Dak,
we're
like
not
Lamar.
game plan. The Patriots aren't going to game plan for Dak to run though, like we have to with
Yeah.
Lamar.
That means he
They-
might start running.
Huh?
You guys,
That means he might start running.
But you guys better. I mean,
I doubt it because
I think Belichick will be prepared, but I'm just saying be prepared in case the Cowboys decide to run those type of packages because they have before. They've shown that they'll run packages where Dak keeps it. So
all I'm saying is if
Dak
the
can
Pats
run.
lose, I'm going to be very unhappy. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So you and me both, buddy.
Yeah.
Well, no,
You
yeah,
and
I mean,
me.
you guys are still making the
Don't gotta
playoffs.
tell-
If you guys, if they beat you guys, then we're kind of like, oh well.
God.
Do you think
Sixers?
you think we want to lose to a team that also
It
lost to
doesn't
the
matter.
Jets?
You're still going to the AFC title game. We need this from you.
Yes. But yeah, it's you guys better win next week. But anyway, by the way,
Bill's back.
I am of course.
Oh. Hey, Bill.
If you see this shirt, if you guys see the shirt I'm wearing, I am wearing my old Super Bowl Jay Ajayi shirt
Yeah,
because we just signed him. Like that's what I was wondering too, but I guess he was there just as a just in case
Somebody got
Miles
hurt,
Sanders
right?
got hurt or something.
Even for those 5 minutes that we
So-
could have used him.
That was one thing that made me angry, and we talked about it pre-show, is so many fans are like, oh, where's Ajayi? You sign him, you're not going to use him?
He
He
just
was-
got signed.
He just got signed on
Yeah.
Friday,
He's probably not.
and we talked about, 13 months it was?
13 months off, yeah.
13 months off.
Hey, he's fresh. He's ready to go. He's not
Like-
tired at all.
No, he's.
No, he would have
I'm not surprised he wasn't in there.
He would have fumbled it
Yeah.
twice, too, because he's always – I mean, when he is in game shape, he's fumbling. So, like,
He does have fumbling issues.
yeah,
Yes.
so,
Yes.
I was expecting if he
But,
got
yeah.
more than
But even if he's in there, they're not going to run the ball. They just not going to
Yeah.
run the ball.
you know.
So anyway, but I know because do you have any thoughts on Wentz? And then I know you have some type of list that you
We
want.
got a surprise list.
I have many thoughts on Wentz, but I'll save that. I'll give you a little sprinkle of it in the list.
Okay.
Because it's about Wentz, but it's not about Wentz.
Okay, go ahead.
So I told Chucks, I told Kevin, I told Chrome, I told the guys in one of our chats earlier this evening that I've been reading, I've been hearing. It seems like the culture in sports talk has changed. Whether it's about basketball players, MLB players, football players, whatever, everyone's so quick to label people. Oh, he stinks. Oh, he's great. Oh, he's the GOAT. Oh, he's not an NFL quarterback. Oh, he's a bust. Everyone's willing to label. And the labels can change after any other play, any other game, to where Dak Prescott can go to, oh, he's an MVP, to, oh, he's trash. You know what I'm saying? People need to understand that we don't need to label players, whether they're a rookie, whether they're a veteran. It's a week-to-week league. It's a game-to-game league. So sometimes players are going to have down games. Sometimes players are going to have down years. So what I wanted to do, since it seems like this entire city of Philadelphia is in an all-out panic, I just wanted to see if we were the only people going through this. But here's the kicker. There's one thing that no one wants to do anymore, except for the smart people, when talking about sports, and that's applying one thing. And I told you what it was, Kevin. Context. So
That's my word.
well,
I always say context.
so we can
I've said it for years.
so it is the birds of a feather word of the day. That's what we're going to call it.
Can we keep
okay?
it word of the permanent?
That's
Like-
fine. The word of the permanent. That works as well. That flows right off the tongue. The word of the permanent. So, since no one wants to add context, I will play your game, everybody.
Let's do it.
And
love
I
context.
made a list, and I will call it the non-context quarterback list of 2019. So, it's not a top 10 list. It's not a top 15 list. It's literally just listing who has gotten better and who has gotten worse in 2019 compared to the year previous.
Okay.
Since everything is, oh, Wentz has taken a step back. Oh, it's over. Oh, we need to go and draft Justin Herbert or Tua Tagovailoa, who doesn't have a hip right
He
now.
has no hip.
Yeah. So, are we the only people in football that's going through this? So I looked through it, and the numbers are actually quite glaring. And I split it up between conferences. So let's start in the AFC.
Let's go.
Tell me, I'll go through it, and you tell me if you disagree with any of them. These are the quarterbacks that have regressed this year, okay, compared to last season. Tom Brady, Baker Mayfield, Phillip Rivers, Pat Mahomes, Marcus Mariota, Sam Darnold, Joe Flacco, Andy Dalton.
I'd say the only one I'd say no to, who stayed even keel, is Mahomes. He just got hurt.
But that's context, Chucks.
I also disagree
you-
with Rivers.
If you,
You're saying Rivers hasn't declined?
what?
Okay, so that's your
I-
that's your list of people who have declined. Correct?
With no context.
With no context.
He's played less games. He's made more mental mistakes. He hasn't been efficient. But if you applied context, you would know, well, he got hurt. The defense has gotten worse. The coaching hasn't put him in a good position to succeed. Tyreek Hill has been hurt. The running game has been banged up. You know what I'm saying? The
Running
offensive
game's
line
not
has been
there.
banged up.
They don't have Kareem Hunt. They have a bunch of guys.
That's context. But this is the non-context
Non-context,
quarterback
okay.
list.
Okay.
So that is 8 quarterbacks that have regressed. 8.
Just go by going off like numbers and sheer like face value.
Just on the surface.
Yep.
And this is just in the AFC. We haven't even gotten to the other conference yet.
Okay.
You know the amount of quarterbacks that have improved since 2018? Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, Derek Carr. 3.
Okay.
So 8-3 ratio. That's in the AFC. Now let's play an even bigger game. Let's go to the NFC, okay? By the way, Kevin, as a Patriots fan, do you agree that Tom Brady has regressed?
No, he doesn't agree, does he?
Okay, but he
doesn't
has
agree.
regressed.
No,
Did you
I would say neither. I don't think that they. Out of context, sure, I'll play that game.
Yes,
Out of context, yes, he's regressed. But if you
Yes.
take the fact that he doesn't have a Gronk, if you take the fact that Isaiah Wynn hasn't played a snap yet,
Yes.
and he's got a rookie receiving core, then no, I think he's doing the best he can with what he's got.
But no context, he has
But no
regressed.
context, yes. Same with the Phillip Rivers. If we're playing that game, sure, but he's also missing Melvin
That's a
Gordon
different conversation.
in
Go
a
ahead.
piece.
He just
That's,
sucks.
that's a different conversation. Go ahead.
So
Go ahead. NFC.
So the NFC, these are the quarterbacks that have, by no context, they have regressed. Carson Wentz, Jared Goff, Mitchell Trubisky, Cam Newton, Jameis Winston, Eli Manning.
Jameis Winston.
Oh, repeat that list
He's
again.
Carson Wentz,
Okay.
Jared Goff, Mitchell Trubisky, Cam Newton, Jameis Winston, Eli Manning. And people at home, how did Eli Manning regress? Well, if you go from a quarterback who plays to a quarterback on the bench, you have regressed.
Okay, go ahead.
So you agree with all of those, correct?
Jameis Winston, I'd say just as bad still, but that's
So he definitely hasn't improved.
yeah. He
So
did.
he's regressed.
Yeah, he has.
And, well, I say he's regressed because you now have a coach who apparently is a quarterback whisperer, still sucks. He's
Still
regressed.
sucks.
So
Okay.
I say he's regressed because now you have, on any other team, 2 number 1 receivers and 2 number 1 tight ends,
Eagles can't even
and still
get
suck.
One
Nope.
receiver.
So that is 6 quarterbacks.
Okay.
Okay. You know how many NFC quarterbacks have improved? 1, Dak Prescott.
Okay.
So we have 14 quarterbacks in the league that you cannot question without context have
Regressed.
have regressed. Only 4 have improved. Lamar, Deshaun, Carr, Prescott.
That's good.
Isn't that glaring, ladies and
That's
gentlemen?
glaring. That's glaring.
And obviously, we're not talking about Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Matt Ryan, Kirk Cousins, Matt Stafford, Josh Allen, because they've stayed around the same. Okay? Russell Wilson was already great. Aaron Rodgers was already great. Drew Brees has been the same. Matt Ryan's been the same. Kirk Cousins is still inconsistent. Matt Stafford's still Matt Stafford, and Josh Allen still is Josh Allen.
I mean, if you look at year over year, I think compared to last year, I think Wilson looks better.
No,
No, because he was the same. It
He
was
was
just
the same.
overshadowed by Pat Mahomes' greatness.
he's the same.
He was the same.
Um,
So what does that
No,
mean
yeah,
exactly, ladies and gentlemen? That we can I just put a label on 14 quarterbacks who have regressed and 4 that have improved with no context. Now, if we apply just a little bit of context, you could say, okay, well, in the AFC, Tom Brady regressed because his offensive line sucks, his running game isn't very good,
No
and the
wide
receivers
receivers.
suck, and oh, by the way, he's 1 year older. Baker Mayfield has regressed. Well, Baker,
There's
I don't
no-
like him, so eh. Phillip
No.
Rivers sucks. Pat Mahomes, he's regressed for the reasons I stated a moment ago. Marcus Mariota's regressed because, well, he's not good enough. Sam Darnold's regressed because, number 1, the guy's like colorblind. He doesn't throw to the right jerseys. And number
He's
2,
good.
This coach
he had
sucks.
freaking mono. Joe Flacco regressed because, again, like Eli Manning, he went from a starter to a bench guy. Same with Andy Dalton. Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, Derek Carr, you don't need to supply context. You know they've improved. 2 of them are MVP candidates. Derek Carr looked like he was going to be out of the league or traded to the Tampa Bay. They're the most surprising team in the NFL.
looking good.
If you apply context to the NFC quarterbacks, Eli Manning, starter, now bench guy. Jameis Winston sucks, now even is worse with a guy who was supposed to not make him suck. Cam Newton, top of the world, injured, going to be traded to the Bears. Benched. Kyle Allen, benched. Mitchell Trubisky, sucks. Jared Goff, O-line, sucks. Todd Gurley isn't good anymore. Carson Wentz, if you apply context, no wide receivers, running backs hurt, offensive line issues, especially with injuries, bad offensive coordinator, lack of a game plan. You get the picture, ladies and gentlemen. When you add just a little bit of context, it makes that list make much more sense. But since nobody wants to talk context, I'll label everybody.
Yeah.
And I will remind you that it's the entire league. It's one of those years
It
where it's
fluctuates.
showing maybe some guys aren't as good, and maybe certain guys are just having down years. It happens.
Well, it happens every year where players in your rankings, everyone's rankings aren't going to stay where they are. Rankings change every year because development, regression, and other factors. I mean, it's a tough thing to look at, but it doesn't mean like that's why the thing with Wentz is there's this whole debate now, or there's one of the debates now about, oh, he's not an elite quarterback. He's not like, he just isn't. He's good. Some people are going to say, oh, he's good, but he's not great. And then you got the extremists who say, oh, he sucks. He's not an elite quarterback. The way I put it is this, and am I constantly tweaking how I evaluate players? Yes. Like I don't evaluate the same way I did last year, the year before. So it's always tweaking, and I'm always looking to improve the ways I look at players. But the way I see Wentz, the talent has never gone away. To me, he is still an elite talent, but he's not having an elite season statistically because of factors that are largely outside of his control, and then those factors play a role in him regressing and him not being as good. Because something that if you don't know, Mark Schofield, he works with Inside the Pylon. Great New England fan. You would like him. You would really like him. Great quarterback mind, like great analyst and everything. The way he predicted this, I gotta give him credit. I gotta give him a shout out, and I gotta hit him up on Twitter and just say you called it earlier in the year when wide receivers for the Eagles were not making plays, were dropping balls, were not getting open, and blah 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 blah. He made a point that he was like, what you've got to be careful of is that Wentz is playing at a very high level right now, but over time, if all these outside factors keep being rough, if these wide receivers keep dropping balls and not making plays for him, and the offensive line is leaky, and you're putting a lot of pressure on him to do so much, he's going to start pushing. He is going to start doing things out of frustration and out of character because he has to push even harder instead of just sometimes relaxing and let the plays come to him because the supporting cast is helping him. And back then I was, weeks ago, early in the season, I'm like, no, the receivers will be fine. Wentz will be fine. Well, fast forward to today, he was absolutely right. He was absolutely correct. And we see that not only with Wentz, but with a lot of other people, where if your talent isn't helping you as a quarterback, you start pushing and you start trying to make this extra throw, or you're trying to force this throw. And Wentz is doing that. He's making bad decisions. He's forcing throws into tight coverages because he doesn't have faith in the wide receivers getting separation. So he's trying to force things, and he's trying to make the superhuman throw because he has to be Superman. But then that means he's not performing up to par. And that's the whole thing. Like, it's a team sport. Let's not just point the finger at Wentz. He's absolutely part of the blame, but he is not the biggest issue on this team.
And to piggyback off your point, you see it on the opposite side of the field. Brady had a career high of 14 incompletions. Why? Because realistically, you only have one receiver on the team that you can trust 100%, and that's Edelman, and he drops a ball in the end zone. I mean, you have your tight end you had to bring out of retirement twice because he cut him. You've got rookies on both sides of the field, and then you've got, Josh Gordon and Antonio Brown, who were on the team, now not on the team. You've got Demaryius Thomas, who was on the team that you expected to have now with the Jets. You have pieces that move around that you can never really rely on anybody. You get that mindset of, okay, well, now I have to put the team on my back and I got to do everything. I have to make sure that it's absolutely perfect. Then you have one play that's just a little bit off, and then you think to yourself, man, now I have to now adjust because I'm not good enough on that play. And you over-adjust, and you start to see a snowball effect. But to the fans' perspective is you only see that side of things where a throw is a pass is either overthrown or underthrown or a drop ball, and not look at, okay, what other factors go into it, like Aguilar in the end zone, not turning around to face the football instead of trying to catch it on the backside of his shoulder. It's just absolutely ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go insane. Just ignore me. Just
Ignore
ignore me. Just ignore me. Don't let me in, Chucks.
Okay.
Don't let me in.
Do we got any comments on YouTube?
Oh yeah, we do. Over here on Tube, Dollar Bill says, get the wide receiver coach from Detroit Lions because they know how to draft and develop players. Give me the name and I'll hire him today. I'll take him. 2 seconds. He could be. I mean, he can do anything. Can he play receiver? Because we might need him. TTP Ballin says, yo, what's up, TTP? NX750 Gaming says, on that note, like Scott was a better option at running back, rather have Jay with no practice. So he'd rather have Jay Ajayi.
With no practice in Boston
Which,
Scott?
listen,
I mean, we can't. I mean, there's not much to argue.
I can't call you crazy.
Yeah,
for
you're
it.
not crazy for it. It's just, I think it's more of like, would we have loved to see Ajayi over Scott? Yeah, we would love to. But at the same time, you have to understand why he wasn't in there. Like, does that make sense? Like, it's understandable why he wasn't in there. Because he just got signed like 2 days ago.
I
You
understand.
kind of get it.
I think why the fan base keeps bringing the whole Ajayi thing up, and I agree with it to a point. It's that when we knew the entire second, third, and fourth quarter, nothing was working on offense. I think their point, and if it's not, it's my point on seeing it wouldn't have made anything worse. For example, we weren't doing anything, for example, anyway.
Yeah.
So to at least try it, like if they would have put him out there for 3 plays, for example, and it didn't work, we would have shut up. You know what I'm saying? But that's the thing on like, okay, well, and I'm not trying to say like the guy that they almost signed from the practice squad would have done anything, but they purposefully didn't bring a guy up who has been playing. They didn't bring him up on the roster because they wanted Ajayi to be suited up. They said that he would be active. They said he'd be ready in case of an emergency situation. Whether it was for 5 minutes, 2 minutes, whatever, and that injury for Sanders. Or if you want us to talk about how for 3 quarters we couldn't get anything done on offense.
That's almost like an emergency.
Exactly. If that's not an emergency situation, I don't know what is.
I get what you're saying.
So that's the only reason why I agree to an extent
I'm not
with it.
adamantly like for one way or the other. Like I'm wearing a Ajayi.
Well, and you like
so
that's your boy
Ajayi,
too.
Yeah.
So no,
so
I get you.
I want to see him, but at the same time I understand why, and it's just
Here's the issue: is what day did he get signed? Was it Thursday or Friday?
Friday.
So Friday, okay.
Friday morning.
So you get signed Friday. Thursday's your walkthrough day. So by Thursday, your game plan's already done. So you've already not game planned to have Ajayi there. Okay? Then you go into the game, and if I'm the Patriots, okay, guy didn't get there till Friday. I don't expect him to play. Now, I'm not game planning for him. I don't think you're going to use him. If you throw him out there, I almost know 100% that that's going to be a run play to Ajayi. Because what are you going to do? Say, here's the ball, run straight? Hey, we'd have nothing else game plan for you. There's no RPOs playing for you. You haven't worked with this offensive line in that layout.
It becomes predictable.
Right.
Because
granted, not that it wasn't already predictable, but you shoot yourself in the foot.
Yeah, I mean, he does know the playbook, but there are things like in terms of if you're talking about pass protections, like there are things you have to know during the install during the week. And, he might not have been up to speed or up to date on that stuff. Like, he'll know. He probably does know they're all the run plays still. So, like, all the run plays, like, you can call for them, but it's going to be predictable. I get what you're saying. It is what it is.
WY2Fly says, I couldn't believe, honestly, I want Pittsburgh's wide receiver coach. I don't know who that is.
I don't know who that is either.
But again, like all these wide receiver, like all these coordinators on their teams, I'll take them over Grow because I could probably, without knowing anything about them, I'm pretty confident in knowing none of these guys were fired by their own father. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if that's an endorsement off the start. Like I feel like that should be in the interview process for the Eagles now.
Yeah.
For anybody, were you fired by your father?
Yeah.
No? Okay, we'll talk to you tomorrow. Oh, the answer is yes. Christine, show this man the door, please. Like, it's that simple. Like, if you were fired by your own father, how are you getting the job?
Dion Brown on Facebook says,
What's
guys,
up, Dion?
First off, good evening. Second, Doug is doing something behind the scenes in my book that's taking away from the gunslinger Carson. He's limiting his ability to get out of the pocket, using his legs when need be. With Alshon out, D. Jackson Nelson playing like he's a rookie, it's not a good thing. I I don't disagree. I think we needed to see, like, not even run plays. Like, even if they called just one run play for him where he kept it on an RPO and ran, that would have been fine. But you got to move the pocket. Like, you got to get QB rollouts. You've got to get, like, design movement to get him outside the pocket.
That's what I said.
mean?
If you had 3 or 4 runs in the whole game, I'm not talking about as many as Lamar had, but 3 or 4, and make the Patriots respect your legs and back off the line to where, hey, I have to have somebody at least sit back for a second to try to guess which way it's going, versus, hey, let's run an RPO, but we're never going to run it out of the pocket. We're not moving. There's no point.
You want to know, ladies and gentlemen, the biggest difference between Carson Wentz this year compared to 2 seasons ago. You don't know the biggest difference? The weapons, sure, obviously. Even though people want to argue the weapons today are the same as 2017 without equating to injuries and age.
And regression. I guess no one ever regresses in the league, right?
And the fact that it's not the same wide receiver core. Actually, it's not. But okay, let's pretend that it is.
Yeah,
I
brought up that, Torrey Smith was here in 2017. He was a deep threat to stretch the field. Someone was like, really, you're going to bring up Torrey Smith?
It's a different guy.
Do we have a deep threat right now?
No.
People, those.
Does that not make sense?
People are saying, oh, it's the same people. But when you name a different person, that's not the same people.
It's like,
oh, that doesn't count.
Why?
Because you're wrong?
He's like, really? Torrey Smith is going to make the difference? Yeah, when he's the deep threat and we don't have one, it makes a difference.
Yes, it's very big. The biggest difference between Carson Wentz this year compared to 2017, aside from the weapons, aside from the coaching being way better in 2017 than now, it's that under pressure in 2017, Wentz used to leave the pocket.
Yes.
Now he stays in the pocket. I don't know. I think it's both. I don't know if it's him internally to where he doesn't want to roll out as much anymore because of the fear of getting hurt, or, and again, I think it's both, or Doug and maybe the organization, the quarterback's coach, sat down with him in the offseason and told him, yes, to limit that.
Maybe. But
which
I don't
is
like
a mistake because then you shouldn't have drafted. You drafted him for his legs.
Stop being don't be scared like McNabb was.
Exactly.
McNabb had running talent and he wanted to be a pocket passer so bad he stopped using that talent. Wentz, you are a good runner. You're athletic. Run. I will say this: he is still not the best pocket manager. His pocket mobility to compare him and someone like Brady. Brady is master at moving in the pocket. Slight movements to slide left and right to avoid the pressure and move in the pocket. Wentz doesn't have that.
No, he has zero pocket awareness.
I don't want to say zero.
Oh, I will say zero.
I don't want to say zero. I think pocket awareness and pocket mobility is different. Pocket awareness, he knows when the pressure's coming, but pocket mobility is having the appropriate footwork to know the amount of distance to step up or step back or step left and right so that you avoid the rush. So he doesn't have the best pocket mobility. However, it's not like it's horrible to the point of you're freaking Mark Sanchez. Whoa. And it's not like there aren't quarterbacks in the history who have been great who have had horrible pocket awareness or pocket mobility. Brett Favre didn't have the best pocket mobility. He was bad. Pocket mobility, he did not know how to navigate in the pocket, but he ran out and he made plays that he was a gunslinger and he's a Hall of Famer. So it's not that there haven't been great quarterbacks without great pocket mobility. It's just that is what Wentz is. I think Wentz needs to not be so afraid to run like he did in 2017. Maybe not as much, but man, you've got to use that athletic ability. Look at Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is, I'd say he's probably a little bit more athletic than Carson Wentz, but he still uses his legs when he needs to. Wentz, we need to see a little bit more of that from Wentz.
We saw him move around and actually run down the field against the Bills, which, oh, by the way, we put up 31-plus points against the Bills.
And he was great.
That's the scary defense.
Two on that last drive.
Yes.
2 clutch first downs because he made the plays with his legs.
He was doing it in the first half against the Bears. He did it a little bit against the Packers. And, those 3 games are the most efficient offensive games that the Eagles have played.
Yes.
How about that?
Yes.
When was the play where was the down but not down came out and threw the first down. He had almost the entire defense on him, and he still snuck out to make the play.
You're talking about against the Patriots?
No. Wentz, pocket collapse, whole team's on him.
Redskins.
That's
2
what I
years
thought
ago.
it was. Yeah.
Redskins
Where's that?
on Monday Night Football. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Where's that?
I mean,
Dude,
he
that's-
has, and it's not saying he doesn't have that ability. Like, he still is that athletic. He is not hurt anymore.
No.
You can see. But it's just that it feels like, I agree. I don't know if it's all on him or the coaches, but we're not seeing that the running ability of Wentz.
I think it's
as
both.
much.
I think
My
it's
issue is
both.
it takes if I'm a coach and I say, hey, I don't want you using your legs anymore. We're not game planning to that. You as a quarterback don't trust yourself to even think on your feet to do it when the pocket does collapse. And you have to move around.
You have to. I want him to learn how to be smart. That's the difference. Like,
Yes.
look at Aaron Rodgers and look at Russell Wilson. They had issues when they were earlier on in their careers where they didn't know the right time to run and slide. But look at them now. Like, they are geniuses when it comes to that. They know when to run and they know to avoid contact and to slide. They really do. You learn that over the years, but I want Carson to learn that. He has to know the difference. Right now, he's a little too conservative on that side.
Well, and I think it falls on the game plan too, because I'll use you brought up Russell Wilson. I'm sure we'll see it 95 times when we play him this Sunday, to where he never has a good offensive line. He doesn't have the best of weapons, but what he always does, and the reason why it's so dangerous, when he's under pressure, he leaves the pocket. He's running around. Deshaun Watson does the same thing.
Yeah.
He's moving around. And again, I'm not trying to say that being a head coach or coordinator in the NFL is easy. If it was easy, all of us would do it, except for Mike Rowe because he was fired by his father. But other than that,
Here's your sign.
it's so simple that, at least to me, that if you game plan for him to leave the pocket when under pressure, whether it's Lane Johnson being out or Jason Peters being out for 500 times a game, if he leaves the pocket and starts scrambling, what is that going to do, Chucks? It's going to do two things. It's going to extend the play. Two, who's going to get open, Chucks?
Everyone.
We see it all the time. Russell Wilson will be holding the ball for 20 seconds, doing spins all over the place, and then he throws it just out of nowhere, and there's a wide open receiver. Nobody's within 20 yards of the guy.
Yeah. So you're saying what you're saying is to create outside the play design.
I'm saying that. Listen, Doug Peterson, you did this with Nick Foles. You watched old game tape of what he was like in 2013 with Chip Kelly. I'm not saying that Carson Wentz and Russell Wilson are the same player. They're not. Different skill set, different body type. I get it. Russell Wilson, I think, is top 2, maybe top quarterback in the league, not named Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
But to me, why don't we watch some game tape of what they scheme for Russell Wilson?
Yeah.
Anything.
Yeah.
Like you did it with Nick Foles, somebody who you never had as a future for you.
Do the same for Carson Wentz.
Make an adjustment one time.
Absolutely. I'm going to read the last bit of comments before we go to break. Dion says, guys, they have to beat Seattle on Sunday. It's a conference game and potential playoff hopefuls. Eagles haven't beat Russell Wilson since he took over as the starter. That has to end on Sunday. It has to. And then Dion also says, he's arguing with looks like he's arguing with Bill. Back and forth.
You got to read Bill's list. His top 10. You got to read.
I don't want to.
I think I just saw 5.
I don't want to.
Oh no, he made it 10.
No, I don't want to. I don't want to read his stuff.
He went back on it, so credit to Bill. He's a little self-aware. He tried saying Rivers is in the top 10, but Wentz isn't. That's when I almost started punching things.
Yeah,
Phillip Rivers?
No.
Phillip Rivers.
No.
What do you see, by the way?
Huh?
You on the other side.
You say he hasn't
dive,
declined?
Yeah, we got to dive into your head.
Yeah, let's
on
go
the
to
other
that in the
side.
second half. One thing
Talk to you.
One thing I do want to address real quick before we go into it. I have the other thing, because I don't want to lose my train of thought. We're talking about bad coaching. Like, I one of the things that I don't understand is still you're not using these receivers in the best spots where they should be put in. Like, do you guys remember the one third down play where they threw a fade to Jordan Matthews down the right sideline? Did anyone else remember that? Third down, fade route?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay, so why are you running that? Why are you throwing a fade route to Jordan Matthews? There is a second-round rookie named J.J. Arcega-Whiteside who, in college, was known to make those type of throws and catches all the time. That is what he was elite at in college. Back shoulder, fade routes. So why do you have Jordan Matthews running a fade on third down and you throw him a back shoulder throw instead of J.J. Arcega-Whiteside? I don't
expect them to use their bigger receivers
don't
to make
get it.
body.
And JJ, granted, one of them was nullified by penalty, which was his fault to begin with. But if we're just talking about catching ability, that throw on the busted RPO in the first quarter, he showed hands. That was like a 5-yard strike laser beam to JJ, and he caught it, snatched it out of the air, and then he had that one other 29-yard completion where he came back to the ball on a scramble drill with Wentz. Like, why is he not out there more? I do not want to see Mac Hollins, and thank God, Mac Hollins only played like 5 snaps. Okay, 5 snaps.
I hate that guy.
God, and and then so get him completely off the field, and please play J.J. Arcega-Whiteside more, please. Please get your second-round rookie in there. Like,
can we sign Michael Crabtree? He's available.
I don't care who else we sign. Just get Mac Hollins off the field and get some reps to JJ. Please get some reps to JJ.
He's out there.
Yeah.
Antonio Brown.
So first half, thank you guys for tuning in. We will be right back. Please, we have a lot to cover still. We still haven't talked about the Eagles' defense against the Patriots' offense. We haven't talked about all the other news and topics. We have a lot of them to go over around the NFL the past week. We are going to still preview the Eagles-Seahawks game. So don't go anywhere. We have a lot. I'm telling you, we have a lot to talk about. The first half, though, brought to you by Specialized Physical Therapy, located in Cherry Hill, Princeton, and Burlington. Find them on the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. And our pro question brought to you by ATS Sports Picks, atsportspicks.com. Myself, Chucks, Kevin Godwin, Ryan Brodo, we're here. We will be taking a short break. As always, 5 to 10 minutes, short break from us. We will be right back. Do not go anywhere.
Welcome back, guys. This is Birds of a Feather on A2D Radio, live from the Real Talk Studios. The second half brought to you by our doc, Paul Vidal of Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC. Find him in Burlington, Cherry Hill, and Princeton, New Jersey. SpecializedPhysicalTherapy.com. We've got Chucks, myself, Kevin Godwin, and Brodo on the ones and twos. The poll question for today was, what exactly was it there?
Oh, yeah, the poll question? There you go.
Oh, like that. I can read that.
Coaching is the Eagles' biggest
That's right.
concern. Agree or disagree?
And so start off the second half. You want to pick my brain a little bit there, Brodo.
So, if you're just joining us, what we were talking about earlier in the show, obviously, we were talking about quarterbacks that have regressed, quarterbacks that have improved. I went over a list. If you missed it, you can go back and watch that a little bit later once you're done watching us live. But Kevin had an interesting opinion, and I think Chuck's nice. I know I disagree with it. I'm pretty sure by your reaction, Chucks, you severely disagree with it. We obviously want to know what you guys at home think of this. According to you, Mr. Kevin Godwin, Phillip Rivers has not regressed. I want to ask you how and why you think that.
Well, I think that he's been the same. I wouldn't say he's progressed at all. I think he's in that group of guys that we know what he is, and
There
he's,
she blows.
I would put him in that group of guys that has been the same. I would put him almost Matt Stafford-esque. You know he's going to throw for big yardage.
You can sit there if you want to.
Nah, I'm good.
You know what you're going to get out of him. I don't think he's gone backwards, especially with having certain pieces out. I mean, their defense is still good, not great. So you know that they're playing in a lot of close games, if not behind in a lot, and you have to put on his arm. Then not having Melvin Gordon, which I've said off air, is probably top 3 receiving backs, who's a big part of their pass game and opening up the run game a lot for them.
But they have Eckler.
They do, but they use them both in tandem, like the Saints did with Ingram and Kamara, or now with whatever piece they decide to put back there, either Hill or Murray. But I don't think he's gone backwards at all. I think he's the same plain Phillip Rivers. I don't think they're better at all. They're still right there in contention with where they should be.
What? What?
He still thinks they're in contention.
What? Kevin, what?
I don't know about that.
What do you mean they're in contention?
They're
For
playing
what?
better, but they're what, 4-7 now?
No, they're 3-7. What? What?
I still think that there's a
Where?
wild card hopes.
Where?
I'm just saying.
The Bills are going to get one wild card. And then
The Raiders.
The Raiders. There you
Or
go.
the Colts. Or something else
Texans,
than
yeah.
the chart. What?
Yeah.
Well, let me pull up the playoff picture.
Disagree
See,
with that, Kev.
Chuck,
I don't know.
you go ahead
I
first.
think-
I got to look into something.
I don't know. I get what you're saying,
I
kind
don't.
of,
I don't.
in terms of he hasn't progressed. But, like, comparing Rivers of last year in the playoffs, he was still pretty good.
He was like an MVP
This
candidate for half
year-
a year last year.
This year, I mean, Gordon's been back for a few weeks now, and he's looked good. Like, Gordon has looked good.
Yes.
He's back to form. And Eckler is no slouch of a receiving back. He's actually really, really
He was like
really
a top
good.
3 in fantasy
Yeah.
for the weeks that Gordon wasn't around.
Rivers just looks really bad, man.
So,
bad decision. Like, I don't know where his decision making has gone, but it's gone like it's like Mitch Trubisky bad.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
I wouldn't go
Kevin,
that far.
So for anybody, including Kevin, that thinks for all you Chargers fans out there, if any of them exist,
you mean just one?
yes. If you still expect to make the playoffs, here are the teams that would make it before them if it started today, all right? The teams that are projected to be in the playoffs, obviously Patriots 1 seed, Ravens 2 seed, Chiefs 3 seed, Colts 4 seed, the Bills 5 seed, and the Texans 6 seed. Those are in.
What's the Texans rate?
They're the 6th seed.
And what's their record?
6-4.
Okay, the Chargers are 4-6. Raiders are 5-4.
Okay.
So as far as a bubble team, they're still there.
If you want to call the 12th seed a bubble team, I don't think so. You have the Raiders ahead of them, the Steelers ahead of them, the Titans ahead of them, the freaking Browns ahead of them, the Jaguars with Nick Foles and Gardner Minshew ahead of them. Then you have the Chargers. There's only 3 teams below them: Broncos, Jets, Dolphins.
I don't know.
If Miami
I don't know.
Miami can go 9-7, the Chargers
They're not
can make
going
the playoffs.
9-7.
Don't you deflect.
Yes.
Don't you
Yes.
deflect.
They're not going 9-7.
Ladies and gentlemen,
All right, 8-6.
any Chargers fans out there, it's over.
I'm not going 9-7.
It's over.
The
Time
one-
for what do Chargers fans root for in basketball? Is that the Clippers
I would assume so. Where's Ross?
or
don't
the
know.
Lakers?
I'm
I don't
changing
know. Raska.
I don't feel safe.
It's okay.
I don't feel
understand.
safe.
Hazards in the workplace.
Hazards in the workplace. But I don't know. I don't know. Kevin, like, I don't know.
Kevin, he's thrown 3 interceptions then 4 interceptions the last 2 games.
Yeah.
He's had an opportunity to
that's-
win the games, and
that's-
he's going interception.
That's Kyle Allen territory.
No,
Like,
that is like suck territory. There's
No,
no,
I
name
say-
to it other than
'cause
suck.
Kyle
Listen,
Allen,
the
Kyle Allen
guy's
has thrown
the
8
guy's got
interceptions.
9 kids at home. Leave him alone. He's
Okay,
gonna
then
have
go
an off
home.
week.
Go home and have another
He's gonna
kid.
have an off
Just
week.
Then go home then.
Just go home.
I don't know. Like he doesn't look like he looks like a bottom 3rd quarterback in the league.
See, but that's exactly my point. I've never put him that high. I've never said he's
How
a
did
top
you
10
not have
guy.
him that high last year? He was at worst a top 15 quarterback.
Okay, and to me, he's still playing at a 15 level. I don't think he's going backwards at all. I'm not saying he's going forward. I think he's right there in
He's
the
still
middle.
playing at a top 15 level.
All right, well,
There are 15 quarterbacks I definitely have
Chucks,
over Phil Rivers right now.
Chucks, let's play a game, okay?
Oh, we're
We have
playing
to-
this game.
We have to do it for Kevin. Fam at home. Let's play a game. It's the Who'd You Rather quarterback game.
All right,
I didn't expect this to happen today, but
tally.
Chucks, keep tally for you
I like
and
this
I'll
Kevin.
keep tally.
I'm not going to keep tally for me because I have no idea what planet we're on right now.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's begin. Tom Brady or Phillip Rivers?
Brady.
Yes, Brady.
Okay. Josh Allen or Phillip Rivers?
Rivers.
Sam Darnold or Phillip Rivers?
Rivers.
That's right,
Okay.
Chucks. We have to think.
That's what's
And that's
tough.
for this year. That's
because
for
I'm
this
also
year.
putting it in a vacuum where Sam Darnold doesn't have a line or a good coach.
Mhm. And it's
Okay,
just for this year.
For argument's sake, I'll go Rivers.
Okay.
I'll go Rivers.
9
Fitz-
interceptions, 3 games. Of course it's Rivers.
So you want to recognize the interceptions of the kid, but not of the old man with 9 kids. He might have more interceptions than kids. Actually, I know he does.
Oh my God.
Dolphins. Fitzpatrick or Rivers?
Rivers.
Okay, that's the easy division. Now we get cute. Pat Mahomes or Rivers?
Mahomes.
Mahomes.
Derek Carr or Rivers?
Derek Carr.
This
Yes.
year, Carr.
This year, Carr.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about this
he-
year.
He's
Yes.
improved.
We're talking
I
about
like-
this year.
Broncos fill in the blank quarterback or Rivers?
Rivers.
Lamar Jackson or Rivers?
Lamar
Jackson.
Jackson.
Ben Roethlisberger or Rivers?
Rivers.
Roethlisberger.
This year?
Yeah,
Or,
but
and okay, fill in the blank Steelers quarterback, whoever's there. I'm taking Rivers.
Okay, Rivers.
I might take Mason Rudolph over freaking Phillip Rivers.
He's got a dent in his head. He can't
No,
play
I'm-
now.
Listen, he hung in
I'll
there.
take
He hung in there.
I'll take Rivers.
He handled that press conference beautifully.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Baker Mayfield or Rivers?
Baker.
Ooh.
Baker. It's
Yeah.
close.
Yeah.
It's close, but it's definitively close to me.
I'll go Baker.
I'm
Just
going
because I
Baker.
want to see him squirm.
I'm going to go Rivers
Oh, yeah.
for the lack of ability to read of when to leave the pocket and when not to on his feet.
Oh, God, you're hurting my feelings. Bengals fill in the blank quarterback.
Rivers.
Rivers.
Jacoby Brissett or Rivers?
Jacoby Brissett.
Come on, Kevin.
Brissett.
Kevin. Come
Thank
on.
you.
Brissett.
Deshaun Watson or Rivers?
Watson.
Watson.
Tannehill or Rivers?
Rivers.
Tannehill.
What?
Smoking crack over
Tan-
He just
Tannehill.
beat Mahomes last week.
Tannehill's never been that bad of a quarterback.
He just beat Mahomes.
Tannehill.
Okay, you can never tell me
That's it.
what week he's going to start or not. I can't pick him over
Tannehill.
Rivers.
Tannehill.
What are you talking about? He's been
Tannehill.
Nick
Tannehill's been playing
Foles.
better.
Nick Foles or Rivers?
Nick Foles.
You be respectful. He beat you. You be respectful.
Healthy? Foles.
Now we're adding health. Come on, Kevin. Let's not
talking
play the
about how
game
they're
midway.
He's
playing
been
this
back
year.
1 week, okay?
We're talking
Would
about how
you
they've been playing this
rather
year.
have him for the rest of the year? Oh, so you're fine with me mentioning Foles, but not Roethlisberger?
Keep going.
That's why I said fill in the blank.
Kevin.
Keep going. Keep
All right,
going.
So who did you say?
Keep going.
Foles. Give me Foles.
There you go. Don't you lash out now. Dak Prescott or Rivers?
Dak Prescott.
As much as it pains
We're in
me.
NFC now?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
As much as it pains me, I'll take Dak.
So how many in the AFC would he rather have?
9 already.
Oh, here we go. Carson Wentz or Rivers?
Carson.
Wentz.
That's right. You look me in the eyes and you dare say Rivers. Danny Dimes, Daniel Jones or Rivers?
Rivers.
Cry me a Rivers.
Rivers.
Cry me. Dwayne Haskins or Rivers?
Rivers.
Jimmy Garoppolo or Rivers?
Jimmy Garoppolo,
Jimmy
please.
GQ. I want him right now.
Russell
I'll take him back.
Wilson,
Russell Wilson.
or Rivers?
Russell Wilson.
Jared Goff or Rivers?
Jared Goff. Come on, stop.
Come on now.
Come on,
I
stop.
can't stand Jared Goff. But
Yeah,
come
I don't
on
like
now.
Jared Goff that
Come
much, but come
on.
on.
I'll go Goff.
That's right. I can feel the pain.
Go ahead.
He's right there though.
Kyler Murray or Rivers?
Kyler Murray.
Come
Absolutely.
on. Murray's electric. He's an electric factory, that kid.
Kyler Murray's really good already,
Come on
man.
now. He almost beat Chuck's 49ers.
Yeah.
Come on now. Be respectful.
My issue is I don't know where to put their fault at with that team though.
Oh my
And
God.
we're talking
oh my God.
quarterback. Don't you try and
Oh my God.
He's trying to be the analyst now for the friggin' the Cardinals.
Go. Next division.
Give me Murray.
We got
fine.
2 more divisions. Go.
Aaron Rodgers or
Rodgers.
Rivers?
Aaron Rodgers, obviously.
He's starting to feel the slip away.
Yeah.
That's why he's deflecting. You can feel it.
Give me Rodgers.
Kirk Cousins or Rivers?
Kirk Cousins.
Cousins. He's had a phenomenal year.
Let's calm down.
For him.
He's been having a
For
good year.
him.
For him.
He's
Okay.
having a
For
good
him.
year. That's a good year.
Mitchell Trubisky or Rivers?
Huh,
Rivers.
Okay.
Rivers.
that's- All right. we're
Sorry,
back.
Crow.
Matt Stafford or Rivers?
Matt Stafford.
They're the same.
No, they're not.
Get-
Have you watched
me
Matt Stafford this
Didn't
year?
Stafford just beat you like 2 seasons
Matt-
ago or last
Matt
year?
Stafford has had
Last
a good year.
Matt Stafford beat you.
Dude,
But you're gonna
Matt Stafford
disrespect-
and Rivers are the same. No, they're not.
I mean, they both don't win, but let's
no,
not.
they're
I'll take-
not.
I'll take. I have a soft spot for Stafford. I'll take him.
Oh, do you now?
Oh, do
Why?
you
Because he
now?
beat you?
Matt
No,
Patricia.
because I forget when it was. Their one win a couple of seasons ago when he came back in with a dislocated shoulder and threw the Hail Mary.
Oh yeah,
That takes some
absolutely.
heart.
I'm sure they'll write a book about that. Drew Brees or Rivers? Final division.
Breeze.
Breeze.
Cam Newton or Rivers?
Cam
Rivers.
Cam Newton.
Go blow some smoke.
Go blow some smoke.
He's,
At least Cam can run 2 feet.
I hate it.
Super Bowl. I mean, wasn't Super Bowl MVP, but he was the MVP. Come on now.
Cam
I
Newton.
said Rivers. I don't like Cam
Cam
Newton.
Newton. It doesn't
Neither
matter
do
if
I,
you like
but
him.
I mean,
I don't
come on,
like him
I
either,
can't
but
stand Cam
he's a
Newton.
better. Yeah, he's a better quarterback than Rivers right now.
He's better running back,
He
maybe.
might be your
Oh my
quarterback after
God.
Brady retires. You
Oh
better,
my
you
God.
better change your
Oh my
tune right
go.
now.
Keep going. Keep going.
Atlanta Falcons. That would be Matt Ryan or
Matt
Philip Rivers.
Ryan.
Matt Ryan.
Oh,
Jameis Winston or Philip Rivers, who I think is the same guy right now. I think
think
they're the same.
That's
why
that's
I
the
finished it.
equal.
That's
the
why I
equal.
finished it with it. They're
No.
the same
Ready?
guy.
That
No.
is on in my book. In my book, that is 21 quarterbacks I'd have over Philip Rivers.
What
right now.
about-
And there were some iffy ones. There were like 2 or 3 iffy ones. Even if you take out 2 or 3 iffy ones, that means that's around like 18, 19.
Where's Kevin at?
I didn't go for Kevin.
Oh my God, that's
I
the
thought
whole
that's what you were
point.
doing. You
That's
were-
what
You for me?
That's what I said.
I thought I was keeping track for me, and then you were keeping track for you.
No, we said both.
That's
I didn't
my
keep
fault.
track.
Do you trust him to keep tally? He'll start.
Oh, yeah,
he'll start
true.
shaving things.
That is true. All right, it was my fault. Well, it doesn't matter because
It's way more. Than,
21 quarterbacks. 21
let's put your
quarterbacks.
number at 19, okay?
It's-
Which is probably like 25.
I have him at about 15.
No, that's a lie.
That's a lie.
We just went through it. run the tape back. Rewind.
All right,
Well,
rapid
cool.
fire. Rapid fire, okay? We need. I'm telling you, this is very important.
Okay, go.
Ready?
Go.
Prescott or Rivers?
Prescott.
Carson Wentz or Rivers?
Wentz.
And you'd have him above Danny Dimes and Dwayne.
Yes.
Okay.
Go.
Jimmy Garoppolo or Rivers?
Garoppolo.
Russell Wilson or
Wilson.
Jared Goff?
I said Goff.
Say golf.
Kyler Murray?
I said Murray.
Go.
Aaron Rodgers?
Rodgers.
Kirk?
Yes.
Mitchell?
No.
Stafford?
Yes.
You'd have rather
Yeah.
have Stafford. Drew Brees?
Yeah.
Cam?
No.
Matt Ryan?
Yeah.
Jameis Winston?
No.
Okay. AFC? Brady?
Brady.
And then you said no for the other 3 in the division.
That is,
Allen, Darnold, and then Fitz.
yeah.
Mahomes,
Yeah.
Carr,
Yeah.
And then you said no to the Broncos. Lamar,
Yeah.
Big Ben,
No.
Baker.
Said no.
You said no to the Bengals. Jacoby,
Yeah.
Deshaun,
Yeah.
Tannehill,
No.
Foles. You said yes.
Yes.
19.
Boom!
I had 19 that I would rather.
Yes. So you have him 20th,
Okay.
Cool.
but he hasn't regressed.
Cool.
Anyway, YouTube. Eagles Nest 291 says the Wentz is elite debate is officially over. I don't know if it was a debate. I just think we all know he's very good.
He's, like I said, I keep telling you, he's an elite talent, but he's not having an elite season.
No. Jalen Williams, I disagree that coaching is our biggest issue. I think it's speed, but Grow doesn't do us any favors. TTP says Nelson Aguilar is ranked 124 out of 124 amongst wide receivers that have played 25% of their snaps, and somehow, some way, last weekend, he was Carson's best receiver. WTF is that, Howie? That is a mistake. That's what that is, TTP.
It's called a boo-boo.
Foolish Demon says coaching is a huge issue. As the intelligent Marcus Billups said on Facebook, I think that's him, right? Isn't that him?
Who?
Foolish Demon, isn't that Marcus Billups?
Is it?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
Foolish
I don't know.
Demon,
I
is
don't know.
that your burner? Anyway, he says you have to look at Grove's history of having a big role in an offense. He also says they failed 2006 and 2008 UVA, 2016 LA Rams, and 2018 and 2020 Eagles. Frank Reich was able to have Marcus Johnson making catches, and they don't have Ty Funchess or Paris Campbell. He also knew this and stuck to the running game. So basically, he's saying micro stinks. That's what he's saying.
Yeah. Matt Haxton over on Facebook says, I say the Eagles grab either Derek Watt or C.J. Ham. This guy has been the fullback guy for a few weeks now.
I was going to say, are we talking fullbacks?
Yeah, he wants fullback.
I mean, I'll take it. I don't
Or
care.
C.J. Ham in free agency. Grab either Jordan Howard or Derrick Henry or Carlos Hyde, whoever is cheaper and available. They get a fast wide receiver in the wide receiver loaded draft. They have a big wide receiver in J. Jaw. They have a fast wide receiver from the draft. They have two great tight ends, two good running backs, a legit fullback, and find a damn offensive coordinator to call a run-first game. I mean, like, I get it. He wants, pretty much, essentially, he wants a fullback and make the Eagles a run-first team.
Like James Devlin with Patriots.
With the Patriots, yeah. So, I don't think it's a bad idea. I wouldn't go that route, but I don't think it's a bad,
Well,
like, his thought process.
No, it's not. It's
If
not
you are,
incorrect.
yeah, like if you really want to go to become a run first team, his thought process is on point. I just don't want to be a run first team.
I don't trust the coordinators to scheme out a run first approach.
And
either.
with a talent like Wentz, I don't believe in wasting his talents
Especially with all the money
with a
you're paying
run
him.
first team.
Yeah.
And the other scary stat of the day for you is the past 6 seasons, the Eagles have either not re-signed or traded their leading rusher.
That's not saying much.
6 years in a row.
Yeah, but that's not saying much. Ever since
if you look at who they were.
ever
I
since
mean,
McCoy was the last one that was legit.
it was Murray, then it was Matthews,
And then
then it was Blunt, but he was at the end of his
Ajayi.
run, and then it was friggin'
Josh Adams last
like
year.
it's nobody.
It's I mean, it's a stat where
But
you can understand if
Murray
you're-
won it out.
But I'm
Murray-
saying if there's if you want to be a run first team, your team doesn't value running backs in the first place.
Yeah, but again, we can't use that what you just said, as realistic as one would assume, because again, if we look context wise, the bird of the feather, word of the day, or what did you say?
Context.
The
word of permanent.
the word of permanent.
Word of the permanent.
Murray was on the way out. He wasn't a culture guy. They traded him for nothing. Matthews was at the end of his run. He couldn't stay healthy. Blunt was at the end of his run. And Josh Adams, he's Josh Adams. And he had to be the leading rusher because he was the only guy who was healthy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
so it's really nothing to.
no.
But I get the point you're trying to make. I
That's
get
my
the point
thing
you're
is
trying to make.
you've got you want to be a run first team. Run first teams go out and get a guy like a Saquon and sign him. You go out and you get a guy like Ezekiel Elliott and you sign him. You don't go out and get guys that you're going to expect to not have
I think
and get on one-year deals.
I think that the one exception is the Niners, but because that's because they have
They got three of
a
the same
coordinator-
guys.
three of the same guy, and their coordinator is that good that they can, as long as the player is in that mold, he'll make them look good. To a certain extent. I mean, Matt Breida to me is a near elite talent, so he's going to be good no matter what. But like Kyle Shanahan can make a Raheem Mostert successful in the system. You know what I mean, that's the only exception. But I
Yeah.
get what you're saying. Like I don't see us becoming a run first team. And it's not to say that we shouldn't emphasize the run. You know what I mean? Like
No.
to me, I think you guys all agree. Like you have to have some type of balance and versatility. You have to be able to run the ball when you need to run the ball, and that's important. Like we have to run well, and we have to run the ball a good amount. But when it comes down to it, I think the essence of our offense has to go through Carson Wentz. It has to be a pass first team, spread offense, like versatile downfield offense, West Coast offense. They're all elements that are in our system. But it's never going to be like run first. So let's touch on a little bit. We didn't get to any of it, and I want to talk a little bit before we get to around the NFL. The defensive side of the ball for the Eagles. I thought they played a great game, and I thought going into this game they matched up well against the Patriots because of how the Patriots were struggling throwing down the field, which is the Eagles' weakness on defense. They struggle with passing down the field. They played a great game. I mean, there's not much I can say. Like, even freaking Nate Gary played an okay game. Like, he had that one really bad missed tackle, which led to the touchdown. But, I mean, he did have some good tackles, so I'll give him an okay grade. I'll give him like a C for the game, which is a lot better than what he's been playing. But I mean, like Kamu Grugier-Hill had a game. Our corners had a game. I mean, Avante struggled, but you're gonna struggle when you're playing against that guy, Julian Edelman. Like, no, to me, there's no corner in the league that's not gonna struggle against Julian Edelman.
How would you grade Jalen Mills since coming back?
Oh, he's got an A minus.
How about that? Okay.
A minus.
How about that one? Huh?
Jalen Mills for like how he's been, who he's been matched up against, and how he's played against the opponents he's had deserves an A minus. And plus, he brings that attitude back to the secondary, to the
Yes,
defense.
he
He's confident. He's loud. He's no shortness of, like I said, confidence. Like he'll get beat in one play and he'll forget about it in the next play. But that's what you kind of need. And then Ronald Darby, he's fully healthy, and he has that recovery speed. Like that one play off the play action downfield, that recovery speed sure looked like it was back, and he got it. He should have been an interception, but he got back and recovered very well. Vontae Maddox, like he had a tough game, but again, everyone's gonna struggle against Julian Edelman. But Maddox also had some really good plays down the stretch in coverage against Julian Edelman too. So it's not like it was all bad for Maddox. I think Maddox fought, and there were a lot of times where he was right there with Edelman, but Edelman's he's a star. Like he's a star of that offensive receiving core. So the defensive line played great. I would be cautious about saying that they're going to be good the rest of the season. I think they matched up well, and I think the next game against the Seahawks, they could get into a bit of trouble because of how the Seahawks offense operates. I'm not worried about Chris Carson. I think we'll contain him. But when you talk about Russell Wilson, we talk about in the first half, he runs around, he makes plays until guys get open downfield. I mean, that's what they do. So I think our secondary might be struggling with that, especially with how freaking Jim Schwartz loves to blitz. So I'll pump the brakes on saying the defense is good again, but I do have more confidence in them with this secondary going forward than I did a few weeks ago.
So, Michael DeAndrea says, anyone realize that the Eagles' defense has significantly improved the past couple weeks? They are now ranked 9th overall. Chuck, who was the player that we were talking about? I've been mentioning forever that is the most underrated defensive player the Eagles have had the last handful of years. Who was that player?
You said Jalen Mills?
No. A guy who came back. Wow, isn't this a coincidence? 2 weeks ago.
Remind me, sorry.
Timmy Jernigan.
Oh, Timmy.
Ever since Timmy Jernigan has come back, the
Sorry.
defense magically can get to the quarterback. There's less pressure on the cornerbacks. You almost see where Jim Schwartz is scheming the entire game plan better because he has more confidence. This happens every year, ladies and gentlemen. You saw it last year when Timmy Jernigan came back. You had this late second half push with the defense carrying the team. It's Timmy Jernigan. He's the one. I get it. It sucks that he's always hurt, so I'm not going to value him like I do Fletcher Cox. I'm not saying we should line up and give him $100 million or anything crazy, but he's the key. Brandon Graham's been very good. Fletcher Cox has done his job at spots. You know what I'm saying? We actually saw a Vinny Curry. We had a Vinny Curry sighting against the Patriots, which was rare. The cornerbacks have done better. You had Gary who played pretty well. You had, Camus who played pretty good. It's Timmy Jernigan. The first time was, okay, that's interesting. The second time, it could be a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. When Timmy Jernigan is there, it frees everyone else up. And it changes the entire game plan. I don't know why. I don't know why he is controlling everything because he's not a top line defensive player. But for some reason on this team, in this organization, he's valued that high. You see it every year.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I thought they were good, not great. I think they were good enough. My issue is the play where you said Darby Amos had the interception covering N'Keal Harry down the field. Brady underthrew the ball.
Oh God, with this again.
He had to turn. He turned around to hit the ball. The receiver had already beat him.
The receiver was beat. Darby still recovered to get, and the pass wasn't.
He made a good play. He came back on the ball.
Underthrown drastically.
Yes, it was.
Drastically to the point where
you talking about the throws to Mills? Is that what you're talking
no, the Darby off play action.
I think what Kevin's talking about is the double move. It was on the right side of the field. Yeah,
it
was Mills. I guarantee.
You're talking about the other, the one after the Darby one.
Yes,
I'm talking about the Darby
exactly
one.
which one it was.
It was
Clearly beat by maybe 3 feet, not even close to any more contact.
And then Mills
turns
jumped
around.
up.
Yes, and he caught a piece of it. Yeah, it was the Mills play.
Oh,
Turn
yeah,
around
the
and
Mills play. I thought you were talking about the
That's
Darby
what I meant.
No,
I apologize.
The Darby play.
So you still have plays like that okay, they make the I'm not taking anything away from them. I think they play good enough to keep the game close. I'm putting the Eagles side of things on the offense just as much as I'm putting the Patriots not blowing the doors off on their offense, because you had obviously a dropped touchdown by Edelman that puts the game up a little bit more.
Yeah.
You have I don't necessarily care about the wind when you're Tom Brady. We talked about the elements and how 30-mile-an-hour wind gusts. That might be an issue if you're Philip Rivers. I mean, I'll go there. If you're Tom Brady, you're making the adjustments and you're putting a little bit more oomph on the ball, and you know how to play.
I don't know if he has oomph.
19 years in the league and playing in New England, or it snows and there's the wind constantly. You should know how to make that play.
Where's the oomph coming from like a 43, 44-year-old though?
Yeah, because
where's the oomph coming? Because I didn't see the oomph.
If you don't, then he's already said, if I don't have it, then I'm not playing.
Yeah, but he still has it in other ways, but that arm strength is not there.
No, he doesn't.
The reason why he's been winning in New England in the playoffs when it's cold and windy is because they've been running more and he manages the game better.
And
but he's
not throwing it downfield.
But he still can, though. He still can, though.
Maybe on occasion, but he doesn't have that arm strength that he once does.
No.
I get what you're trying to say.
My issue
is that
he's not
throwing zingers in 30-mile wind gusts. You know what I mean?
I'm trying to encompass. There was a couple of plays where he threw in front of guys. I'm not just saying underthrowing, but overthrowing too. There's a couple of plays where you could tell that he was not on sync with his guys, which that's what everyone prides Brady on doing is turning grocery getters into all you have to do is be there, and I'll make sure the ball is there.
What I would counter with that is, I get what you're saying that Brady also wasn't on point, but and there was a drop to Edelman, there was the underthrow that Mills got his hands on, but then there were also a bunch of dropped interceptions, and something that I've noticed since earlier this season that I found alarming. Brady has thrown a good amount of red zone interceptions or a good amount of interceptable balls in the red zone. That is highly uncharacteristic of Tom Brady of past years.
And you can't hit anybody on those little dink and dunk passes anymore.
And
you can't hit any of them.
Here's the thing, and like that, like one pass that McLeod should have had in the end zone, that was absolutely that should have been an interception. So, like I don't want to take away like the Patriots won because they came out in the second half and they put together a masterful drive with no huddle. With adjustments out of the second half. They always do that. They almost always score out of the second half when they get the ball first. And that pass Julian Edelman to Dorsett, that was beautiful play design. Like you know Belichick was gonna do that. But it's, to me, it was because Belichick and the defense played a great game. But like the defense, the Eagles defense still were. They gave no breathing room to that offense where they got constant pressure in the pocket on Brady, made him feel comfortable. And any running play, any screen play, any pass to the flat was taken away. The Eagles were all over it. That deserves credit. Like, that absolutely deserves credit. Not every team, not every defense in the league can play the Patriots defense play against the Patriots offense well.
And again, I'm not trying to take anything away. Like I said, I think they played good. I think they played well enough that if your offense played where it should have, that you win that game. I think they gave you every shot to win and did what they should. But I don't think it's as close of a game, and I don't think we're talking about how good that defense looked if the Patriots played their ball. Like, if Edelman doesn't drop the ball like he did, if a couple of those passes weren't either underthrown or overthrown and if Brady played to where he should be, it's not as close. I'm not saying they're running away with it. I'm not saying that the defense of the Eagles is overshadowed, or we're saying they're awful anymore. I'm just saying that they capitalized on every opportunity that the Patriots gave them, which they should be doing.
I guess, but if you can say if the Eagles play up to their standards,
exactly,
they would have had at least one or two interceptions.
Like, like I said, I don't disagree with you, Kevin, but like if you want to bring up, the drops by Edelman, or the throws that should have been had, by Brady, if you want to talk about that, you can times that by 10 for the Eagles side of the ball.
But the difference is coming from a Patriots perspective. If as of right now, at this point in the season and this point with that team, that's uncharacteristic. Unfortunately, with the Eagles, Aguilar dropping the ball is not uncharacteristic.
But that's the offense. We're talking about defense, though.
But that's exactly what I'm saying. Is if the Patriots play up to where their offense should have, does that overshadow a couple of things that the defense did?
But the Patriots this season haven't played up to that.
No,
the standard you're talking about is the standard from years before. The standard that they have this season, they haven't been playing that at all this season.
Kevin, let me ask you this.
I don't think so.
If, just on not even on the surface, just flat out, wouldn't you agree that both the Patriots and the Eagles offense has been bad this year? They've both been bad.
I would agree to a point, though, because outside, granted, we haven't played that many teams that should be close games, but we've only been held under 30 now 3 times. 16 to the Bills in a close game where Brady threw an interception in the red zone to go up.
Against a really good defense.
17 on the Eagles, and then 20 to the Ravens.
But
outside of that, the games aren't even close.
But that's wrong because the offense isn't scoring those points.
Yeah,
they're not scoring those points.
Your defense is scoring a lot of those points.
Yeah,
look at fantasy.
Yeah, I mean, Kev, go to those scores and find me the offensive points per game. It's not above 30. Any of them.
I understand that, but I'm saying that they're playing. I mean, they're on and off the field quick enough to where they're playing to where they need to be. In a close game, I expect the Patriots to catch that ball in the end zone. When that ball's released, I already said touchdown. I jumped up and down. I expect it to be caught.
I understand why you expect it.
Yeah,
because,
yeah,
again, that's the standard that has been set for years prior. But I'm talking about what they've shown this year, and this year they have not shown
whether it's a 30-point victory or a 2-point victory for the Patriots. And again, I'm asking you this. I don't know. I don't listen to Patriots radio. I don't talk to that fan base. You know what I'm saying? But from what I've seen, it's that the biggest storyline, even in victory, has been the offense needs to figure it out. Am I wrong? It definitely has been. The defense needs to figure it out.
You're 100% right. I mean, the offense does, but it's concerning to me that the pieces. We are missing pieces. Like I said, you had N'Keal Harry who was out. You have a question mark at tight end because both Lacoste is out and Izzo has been out. You had to bring back Ben Watson twice, and then your left tackle is out. So obviously there's pieces, just like on any team. I know there's injuries to the Eagles as well, but the pieces that we have in place, you don't expect to be question marks, especially at this point in the season. And you expect the Patriots to turn it up, and usually December and late November we don't lose.
Yeah, usually
it's okay. That's playoff time. That those crank it up.
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying.
My thing is if you make Patriot plays and don't drop the ball in the end zone, I'm not taking away from the Eagles, but you got to see that as that's not your defense making plays. That's the offensive not capitalizing on the plays that they should be making.
Yeah, but what I'm saying again is that if you're looking at how they've played all season, that's not them. They don't connect on these. They haven't been connecting. They haven't been up to standard of what years prior the bar has been. And so when you're looking at it as how they've been this season, this is Patriots offense.
Yeah,
this is what they've been.
30 points offense, yes, I get that's not the bar. Dropping the ball in the end zone on a 20-yard pass, that has to be made.
They've
30
made
points
mistakes.
and it's not 30-point offense.
Yeah.
It's not.
That's what I'm not disagreeing. I know that the standard is now no longer 30-point offense, but a 20-yard pass wide open to Edelman is still a standard. You got to catch
where
that.
Edelman has maybe not dropped a pass, like he's dropped a pass in weeks prior. But like say hypothetically, I'll give you maybe Edelman doesn't drop a pass. You're still not factoring in the other side of it or the other factors where the receivers aren't on the same page. The receivers aren't getting separation. The offense can't get anything downfield. They can't run the ball. Like this is nothing new. So like you're not if you're the Eagles offense the Eagles defense play perfect? No, they didn't play perfect. Obviously they gave up 17 points. They didn't play perfect, but they played great still because they forced a lot of those plays those Patriots mistakes themselves. And did they get lucky with some? Yeah, the Edelman dropped a pass in the end zone. Yeah, and the pass by Breeze was underthrown. But at the same time, you're saying then that the Patriots offense has been playing perfect, but they haven't. They haven't been playing perfect. So if they're not playing perfect and they're making mistakes like this, then the defense taking advantage and playing and holding them and forcing those mistakes is credit to the defense. And again, I'm saying they also haven't been playing perfect. I mean, the defense didn't play perfect because they dropped interceptions. And I tweeted it out second half. You can see, like I said that I was scared that the Carson Wentz fumble and the missed opportunities by the defense, the missed interceptions, were going to be the difference, and that very well could have been the difference in the game. So it's the defense. The Eagles' defense wasn't perfect, but they still played a great game. And the fact, like I keep in mind the one field goal, that was a gimme because the offense essentially gave them field position, but the defense held them.
Yeah.
So
I said, the Eagles' defense is better. This week coming, they are improving. They are good. I think they are good enough to, win a playoff game. If your offense holds up their end, I just don't think that they are great, and I don't think that they should. Any fan should be okay with where they're at right now. I think that yes, are they better? Obviously. To hold the Patriots to 17 and to, come up with, again, like you said, interceptions that they should have had. But they're still, I don't think that this is a shutdown defense that is at where they need to be if your offense is not there. I think that
It's
the
not a
defense is
shutdown
being,
defense,
I think the defense is, from at least what I've seen as far as a fan's perspective, I'm not saying you two guys, but it's being now overhyped because they played well enough in that game where there's still areas that they need to improve on, especially with only having one sack against a backup left tackle in a game where that should be much more.
one sack, but I did say for one, I did say I think was it last week on the show or somewhere. I said to Chrome, the Eagles aren't going to have. No, I said it on the show. I said the Eagles are not going to have a sack or maybe at best one because.
Well, again, I'm not saying
because they get the ball out.
Right, I'm not saying you.
So,
I'm saying fans. Like, there's still areas even if you're not playing a Brady that has a release time of 2.3 seconds, best in the league, you have to look at other teams. This is going to be your biggest test in Russell Wilson. How do you do against not cookie cutter type offensives that have a more mobile quarterback?
And I led into that with this topic. I led into saying that I would pump the brakes on saying the defense is good from here on out. I still think we have one more big test against Russell Wilson, and I'll reiterate again: Russell Wilson will make plays, extend the play, and throw downfield. That's going to be an issue for our secondary. Not the running game. We will contain Chris Carson, but it is a tough test. So
as a runner,
what
as a runner anyway?
You're talking about Chris Carson?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I get it. I get it. I'm talking about this game against the Patriots. They played a great game. There's no going off.
I guess there's a little bit of a bias because looking at the Patriots, this season in particular, to me that's where my benchmark is. As watching that type of defense play every week, that's a great defense. When somebody throws out great, I'm like, okay, well, in comparison, where are you at? That might just be me.
Maybe.
But
yeah. So we used a lot of our time on talking about the defense, talking about Phillip Rivers and where he stands. So to finish off, we have like a minute or two, but we'll combine around the league and no huddle. Any thoughts from this past week around the NFL? Any quick hitters or any other stuff that you want to throw out there?
Yeah, I think that 49ers are still a problem. I think that they're going to be
absolutely still a problem.
I think I am on the fence. My initial prediction was Patriots Saints Super Bowl with both quarterbacks retiring. I'm not at the point where I'm going back on it yet, but this 49ers team looks like it could go there. Although I will say, as usual, the NFC does have the tougher road to get there.
Absolutely.
In the Seahawks. The Eagles, if they turn it up, I think can be in that conversation. The Saints are obviously there.
I will say this now. Eagles are not winning the Super Bowl.
They have. I'm not saying winning the Super Bowl, but I'm talking about being a team. They have a schedule that lends itself to ramp to the playoff.
Okay.
Like
I think he's saying to make the playoffs. Is that what you're saying?
To be in the conversation, if you heat up having a lighter back half the schedule,
and then start playing well,
right?
We could be the Giants. Like we could be the new Giants in terms of like no. What I'm saying is
you're talking about when they beat us.
I'm talking about when they caught fire.
Yes.
Late in the season as a wild card.
Yes.
No, not this team. No.
No, I'm saying that's what he's saying.
Whoever's saying it, no.
I think they have. I'm saying they have the potential to do it. I'm not saying they are, but there's enough teams in the NFC that cause a
You
threat.
said it. I didn't say it.
Listen, I love the Birds, but no, honey, no.
I don't say
no.
I think there's like a 1% chance of that happening.
I'm just saying they have right now with the defense coming on, and if you figure out a couple pieces on the offense, especially having another running back in the mix and a weaker second half of the schedule, it's a possibility.
The only way I see that happening, and I know we're going ahead of time, but I need to get this in. The only way I see the Eagles turning it up and being a legit contender in the playoffs by getting hot is if one, Doug Peterson and Mike Groh. Two,
You know what needs to happen.
two.
You
Wait,
know.
two.
Yeah,
Wait. Just let me
I'm
finish.
listening, I'm listening.
Two, if Alshon Jeffrey and Nelson Aguilar all of a sudden become their 2017 selves. And three, I'll do 4 points. Three, if the defense starts to play like 2017 defense and create actual turnovers instead of just like
They're
being
getting
what
there,
they
though.
are. And four, if somehow they stay healthy, which hasn't been the case all season. They haven't stayed healthy. But go ahead. What's your other point?
Kevin knows what I'm going to say.
Go ahead.
They got to make a phone call. If you want to make me buy in again, that
It's not worth that phone call.
I'm
What
not saying
phone
it's
call?
worth a phone call.
What phone call?
You want to bring in AB.
I'm not saying I want it. I'm saying if you want me to buy in that you can go on a run again
Oh,
in
bring in
the
AB.
playoffs, make a couple playoff victories, you make the call. I'm not saying I want it. I'm not saying I don't want it.
Hey, he's out there.
Oh, and I'll say,
retweeting,
and also, if J.J. Arcega-Whiteside starts to go off the map and become like a crazy rookie, which I still think could happen, but I mean, if they have to freaking play him first. But what I will say about the Niners, I am really sticking to my, like I start to see it now. I'm really sticking to my Super Bowl prediction of them at least making it to the Super Bowl because, man, I just see more and more parallels from this Niners team to the 2017 Eagles team.
Who did you have them playing?
And I had them in my mid-season predictions. I had them playing the Ravens. So this Niners team catching fire. The defense is a dominant on the front line. Creates turnovers. Their offense is a little different from the Eagles, but something that I've now as a new parallel is the Niners are getting hit with injuries left and right. George Kittle is out. Emmanuel Sanders is banged up a little bit, like with his ribs. Matt Breida is out for a couple of weeks.